Okay, it's 9:30. We're getting ready to go. We will start with a few comments from Laura, who is the acting chief of COA. Here you go.
Thank you, Bob. Hello, everyone. Good morning. On behalf of the town of Concord and the Council on Aging, I want to welcome you all to our annual Veterans Appreciation Breakfast. It's nice to have it in person again this year. So thank you all for coming. I'd like to give special recognition to those in the crowd that are veterans, the families and spouses of veterans. Thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and your contribution to our freedom. So thank you. Our activities coordinator, Tina Close, has done an amazing job pulling this event together, and we hope that you will agree that she has put together a really great program for us this morning. So thank you, Tina. Over here. Thank you, Tina. And thank you to all of our fantastic volunteers that make this kind of event possible. So without any further ado, I hand the mic over to Henry Dane, who has a message for you.
Thank you, Laurie. I'm Henry Dane. I'm here from the Board of Selectmen to give you their greetings and to thank you for all you've done for all of us and ask you to remember our compatriots who are not with us today. I've been asked just to say a few words, and actually the fewer the better. And I just also want to invite all of you to participate tomorrow morning in the ceremonies at the cemetery that start at step off at 8 o'clock in the morning, assemble at 7:45 at the Pritchard Gate. It's a very heartwarming and very important ceremony, and I hope that as many of you as possible can join us tomorrow morning. Was that few enough, Bob?
Outstanding. That was very good. Thank you, Henry. We'd like to start the program with everybody stand up and I pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just a few comments. Since I'm the master of ceremonies, I get to have a few comments. First, I'd like to acknowledge Ray Snee, who has been doing this program for a long time, and when he decided to give it up, I took... By the way, ladies, I'm not married. Thank you to Henry Dane, who stopped by to have a few words from the selectmen. And there's
Hey, wait a minute. What about the music?
And to Jerry Hurley, who's music director for life. He's there. And there's a poster up there on the wall. It talks about a movie about Tom Hudner. Tom was a local guy who, in a career in the military, got the Medal of Honor in Korea. A movie is soon to be out called Devotion, and I think it's going to be out November 23rd. Tina says, get out, Bob. You're spending too much time. And the movie is over here.
No, I just meant to make it louder.
Okay. Oh, louder. Good morning, everyone. You know, it's been a long time since we've had the opportunity to get together. The pandemic certainly threw a wrench in a lot of things, and I think it's been 2 or 3 years since we've been together physically. The last time we were together, we had the honor of having Peter Orlando share his experiences at Normandy. And we have the honor again of having Peter here at the ripe old age of 100. And My name is Bob Marquet. I've been the Master of Ceremonies for several years. I'm a veteran of the Marine Corps, and y'all have the agenda in front of you and what's going to happen. If I don't speak too long, we will soon have breakfast. You know, I'm not a young man, not nearly as old as Peter, but close. Soon to be 88 years old. I can remember the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s. I can remember World War II vividly, Korea and Vietnam. But the world seems a lot different today than it was when I was a young guy. There were only 130 million people in the United States when I was a young guy. There are 325 million people now. I don't understand the world today. I don't know if it's better or worse than when I was a kid. It's above my pay grade to make that comment, but things seem to be a little crazy to me. But that's just me. I think something that really hurt us as a country many years ago, in the late 70s, we decided you didn't have to go in the service anymore. The draft was canceled. It became an entire voluntary military system. Now, get nothing wrong. I probably wouldn't have gone in the military if I didn't have to. I was young and stupid like everybody else at a young age. And I probably wouldn't have gone in. But in those days, you had to go, period. You had no choice. So I got involved with the Marine Corps, and I spent 3 years in the Marine Corps and a couple of years in the Reserve. And I'm glad I did it. And I learned a couple of things that I think people that have not been a veteran don't understand. The incredible sacrifice of the military members and their spouses. To me, spouses are veterans. And it's just, what is the cost? World War II, 460,000 veterans died. Korea, 36,000. Vietnam, 60. Freedom is not free, ladies and gentlemen. The cost is paid by those people who lost their lives and their spouses that had to pick up the pieces and move forward once their husband had been killed. I've had personal experiences. I remember the day clearly when Peter Maitland was killed in the early 60s. His wife of 23 years old with 2 small children, she had to pick up the pieces and move forward. Tell me that's not a sacrifice? It is a sacrifice. When Charlie Brunt got killed later on in the 60s, I was there when the CEO and the priest knocked on Susan's door and announced that her husband had been killed. Tell me that's not pain and sacrifice? Freedom is not free, and she had to pick up the pieces. Bonnie Manhardt's husband was killed in 1943. They had one child, Warren, called Biff. She had to pick up the pieces and bring Warren up. Warren went to Tufts and then got a master's degree in math and went on to be a math teacher at Newton High School for 37 years and ended up the head of the math department there. Only made possible by the sacrifice of Bonnie Manhardt. If you don't think freedom is free, it's not free. And for all those people, maybe in wartime or non-wartime, the repeated deployments are brutal. And they're very hard on families. My wife had a child while I was gone, and when I got home, the child was 9 months old. Today, he is 62, and he's got a job in India. What's that all about? But I was in Okinawa when he was born. 62 years later, he's in India. Full circle. So all I really want to say as far as my comments are concerned is it's too bad the draft was done away with, because something happens to you when you're in the military for a while. You become some sort of a patriot. you start to get an attitude about how wonderful the United States is. And I think those feelings are starting to go away. And some of the bindings that held America together all those years have been lost when the draft went away. So I want to thank all the veterans here today and their spouses, who in many cases had to pick up the pieces when the husband no longer could do so. So that's my comment. That's what I learned in the military. I probably wouldn't have gone in if I didn't have to, but thank God I did. Thank you. Tina's whispering in my ear, and I can't hear a thing. You know why I can't hear? So much noise in the military. Blew my eardrum. It's right. Any guys in the military before 1970 blew your eardrums up. But I got a little thing here. I want to thank the people from Hanscom for coming over here, and they will be our featured speaker in a short time.
And the children are here.
And the children are here, and they're going to sing a couple of songs, and I'm going to be quiet. Thank you.
We always love to have the children sing at all of our events, so I hope you enjoy them. From the Carousel Preschool.
If you know the words, you're welcome to join in.
The more we get together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your friends are my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, when there's never a post of flag. Greatness be forgot. Keep your eye on the grand old flag.
For our last piece, we're going to sing a little goodbye song. The children have learned sign language to go with it. So, you guys ready?
Now it's time to sign goodbye, sign goodbye, sign goodbye. Now it's time to sign goodbye. We'll see you all next time.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, everybody, we're ready for breakfast. I'm going to call tables. You can go into the clock tower room and get your breakfast, and there will be volunteers who will come to the table as I call and ask if people would like them to get a meal for you. So if you can't make it into the other room, you'll have your meal delivered. Okay? So people at table number 1 can go in and start.
I've had the opportunity to sit at the desk over here and talk to the people from Hanscom who'll be on next. Second Lieutenant Nacy anyway, and Master Sergeant Jeremy Isaacs. When I was having conversations with him, I talked about my time as a second lieutenant. When I was a second lieutenant, my base pay was $222 a month. Can you imagine that? And if I hung around for 2 years, it went up to $256. And if I hung around for 3 years, it went up to $314. I got $105 for the house and $46.88 for subsistence. Things have gone up since that time. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the Second Lieutenant and Master Sergeant Jeremy Isaacs, who will bring us through some of the situations that are going on in the military today, more specifically in Hanscom. So without further ado, please welcome.
So, most of my troops tell me I don't need a mic, but I just want to check to see if it's true.
Yeah.
Well, before we start and we get into truthfully why we're here, we have a video. Before stop. No, come on. Can you see it? It'll come back. Perfect. So let's start with the video before it shuts off, and then we'll get into our conversation with you.
Located at the center of the hallowed grounds of the birthplace of America, Hanscom Air Force Base is the only remaining active duty Air Force base in the New England region and New York. Within a short distance of historic Boston, Hanscom's proud legacy of acquisition excellence and world-class installation support remains an integral part of America's national security. Commissioned in 1941 and leased to the War Department for use by the Army Air Forces in 1942, the Boston Auxiliary Airport at Bedford was renamed the Lawrence G. Hanscom Field in February 1943. Hanscom was a local reporter, pilot, and aviation enthusiast who vigorously lobbied state officials to establish an airport in Bedford, Massachusetts. In February 1941, Lawrence Hanscom perished in a plane crash in Saugus, Massachusetts, but his visionary spirit and name will live on forever. During World War II, the 85th and the 318th Fighter Squadrons utilized Hanscom Field to train down the famed Curtiss P-40 Warhawk, a single-engine, single-seat, all-metal fighter and ground attack aircraft that played a critical role early in the war, most notably in China with the Flying Tigers, and in Allied successes over North Africa and Europe. In recognition of this legacy of valor, the term Warhawk was adopted to identify those who carry on the heritage of what is now Hanscom Air Force Base. Yet, while the base maintained an operational flying mission long into the future, it was the legacy of research and development that would alter Hanscom's trajectory for years to come. In the later stages of World War II, the base served as a site for testing new radar technology developed by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology's Radiation Laboratory. This partnership and physical proximity set the stage for Hanscom's future as the Air Force's hub for electronic systems development. Since 1945, Hanscom Air Force Base has expanded its role from radar systems to fundamental electronic research, command and control systems, communications, airborne and space electronics, and ballistic missile tracking.
Today, Hanscom Air Force Base is home to multiple elements of the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center, including the 66th Air Base Group and significant parts of 3 major program executive offices. PEO's Digital and Command Control, Communications, Intelligence, and Networks, better known as C3INN, both of which are headquartered here, along with a key component of the program executive offices for Presidential and Executive Airlift. In addition, Hanscom is also home to the Nuclear Command, Control, and Nuclear Weapons Center. Digital delivers and supports battle management systems and oversees a wide range of programs, including command and control weapons systems like AWACS and Joint STARS, intelligence systems, radars, force protection, and anti-drone technology, all of which are done in a constant effort to modernize and improve how the U.S. and allied warfighters operate. Command, Control, Communications, Intelligence, and Networks is directly responsible for developing, deploying, and sustaining U.S. Air Force and Space Force, joint and coalition information technology, networks, cryptologic, cyberspace, cyber, and aerial network systems which enable decisive combat operations. They focus on delivering war-winning capabilities through innovative acquisition approaches, while implementing digital engineering and transformation tools to solve today's challenges. Their mission, connecting warfighters with affordable, secure, and war-winning cyber, C3I, and network systems, is accomplished with an eye toward delivering capability through innovative solutions. Nuclear Command, Control, and Communications focuses on critical C3 technologies such as sophisticated radio systems, receivers, and more. These allow emergency action messages to be passed rapidly and accurately. The organization is responsible for integrating all these capabilities into an NC3 weapon system across the Air Force, including configuration management, system testing, verification, and certification. Additionally, the Presidential and Executive Airlift Program Executive Office, headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio, has a significant presence at Hanscom. Its Survivable Airborne Operations Division is located on the installation and is working to acquire a replacement for the aging E-4B National Airborne Operations Center. The E-4B is a key component of the National Military Command System for the President, the Secretary of Defense, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
The outstanding support from the 66th Air Base Group is essential, enabling agile war-winning capabilities for more than 10,000 active duty, reserve, National Guard, and civilian personnel. The 66th Air Base Group provides world-class installation support for over 300 tenant organizations and geographically separated units spanning the 7-state region of New England and New York. From the 6th Space Boarding Squadron at Cape Cod Space Force Station to Air Force Rome Labs in upstate New York, warfighters depend on the 66th Air Base Group for military and civilian personnel support, medical, legal, finance, logistics, civil engineering, communications, honor guard, morale, welfare, and recreation, as well as other key support functions. Additionally, more than 700 joint military and civilian families call Hanscom home, allowing them to take advantage of amenities that include the region's only Olympic-sized indoor swimming pool, both a primary and middle school, a child development and youth center, and a world-class fitness center. Hanscom also hosts the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Lincoln Laboratory, home to some of the world's brightest minds in research and development, who are instrumental to the greater Boston area being nationally recognized as a high-technology area. And our close-knit relationships with our welcoming local communities and seamless integration with world-class academic, industrial, and nonprofit organizations foster great employment opportunities for spouses and dependents. Just outside the gate, opportunities in the Bay State are endless. Whether participating in a flag-folding ceremony at Fenway or watching in awe as the USS Constitution, the world's oldest commissioned warship afloat, fires a ceremonial cannon salute. The greater Boston area also boasts endless hiking, kayaking, and some of the country's most beautiful beaches and national parks. Being stationed at Hanscom Air Force Base is truly special. In concert with our eclectic mission partners, the Warhawks of Hanscom are revolutionizing the warfighter's edge by deliberately and decisively enabling war-winning capabilities to deter our adversaries while guaranteeing the security of our nation.
I would like to start off by saying thank you to Tina and thank you to everyone here that has allowed us this opportunity to come here and share our time and also learn from you and grow from you. I would also like to apologize that our speech will not be as good as Bob's, so please lower your expectations, okay? But on a very true note, we are truly honored and just glad to be here. And I'll say to you before I turn it over and we go back and forth, is we kind of like, we're not going to be on the stage. We just want to be around you guys and just enjoy your company, you know? But one of the things is on that video, you learned that, and I'm not sure, a lot of information was given, is Hanscom is very important. And the reason why it's important is because of everyone here. Massachusetts is the highest educational state in the United States. Like you have the top colleges, you have the best high schools, you have the best programs, and what that means is for us to fight wars in a different way, in a better way, in a more adaptive, quicker, responsive way, we need the brains of our best. So we come here. That's why we work with Lincoln Labs, that's why we work with Harvard, that's why we work with the local community, because without you, this doesn't work. So, that is the truth side of it. Now let's have the fun side of it, right? So I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant to have the fun side, and we're going to go back and forth and just talk. So, Lieutenant, tell me about you.
Good morning, everyone. So again, I'm Second Lieutenant Nancy Benassi. My time in the Air Force has not been short. Yeah, not as loud as Sergeant Isaac.
Swap spots.
Can you hear me? Is this working? Okay. So I just got on active duty about 7 months ago. So I'm very new to the Air Force. However, my longing and desire to serve in our armed forces has started several years back, and that's because of inspiration, right? So all of you here today have impacted someone in your life in some capacity. Through your service, right? You have impacted the direction and trajectory of the democracy and liberties that we have today and are able to have the luxuries that we have today. So thank you to all of you. And Master Sergeant Isaacs mentioned the fun part of it, right? I'm sure that most of us in this room can attest and share the sentiment that the military is all about the people. And it would not be what it is without the people. And everyone coming from all walks of life today and in the past, and just bringing their gifts to be able to serve our country. And here at Hanscom, I've had the pleasure of meeting already so many amazing people and getting to know everyone in the community, including all of you. So it has been an absolute amazing experience thus far, and I'm really excited for what's to come at my time here and my time in the Air Force. Personally, you saw some amazing things in this video that personally I have not touched yet, but you can see that there's some amazing technologies and a lot of developments that we're able to acquire and make sure that our fighting force is as capable and as strong as it is today, and be able to face a lot of the challenges that our military is going to have to fight and conquer through in the coming years. So without that, like Master Sergeant Isaac said, we need the brains, we need the manpower, and we need the dedication to our country's freedom that each and every one of you have offered us, and that we're able to serve today because of that.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I'll put it back, because if double up, you guys are going to lose your hearing. So, I would say to you, each and every one, and I say each and every one because you saw we had the Constitution on there, right? My Navy guys are like, whoa, woo! They believe. And I love the fact that we have our Army guys here and I hear your stories, I hear what you've been through, and the best part is just seeing you smile. And I know that we've lost so many to this war. We've lost so many over the years, generations, and exactly like Bob says, those sacrifices that, to be honest with you, the hardest working people in the military are not the people in the military. Let's clear that up. The hardest people working in the military is the spouses and the children. All the holidays, all the moments they spent alone, all the birthdays that we missed, all the times that we didn't get to see those graduations, they have sacrificed for us beyond we know, beyond us know. The truth about it is, every military member here smiles because of the people behind us. We smile because of the people next to us, and we believe in what we do because we get to see faces like this. And I get to hear stories like this. I walked around and I had the pleasure of serving some of you, and I just see on your faces how you've lived a life that I wish we have when it comes to our older age. You smile, you're happy about things, you found the best side of life, and more importantly, nothing brings you down. I am truly jealous with envy to know that you guys have found a way to make life the best that it is. And to my veterans, and I know you sacrificed, your family does get the upper leg, but to my veterans, the truth is, I will never be here. I could have never been here, ever existed in this situation, in this opportunity, without you. Every single one of you. There is no fight that is unimportant. There's no battle that is worth more than another. Every single one of you have given something that I hope in my life I can live up to your expectation. Greatness is not achieved by people knowing your name. The greatest people in history are in this room because you didn't ask for fame, you didn't ask for acknowledgement, you asked for nothing, but you gave everything. You gave absolutely everything. And for that, I think both of us will take a moment here and salute you, telling you thank you for what you have given and for what you've done. Order. Up. Thank you. Thank you.
I can personally attest that Master Sergeants do not need a microphone. When I was in boot camp, I think the second day, all the Master Sergeants had throat spray. And they'd yell at us for a couple of minutes and then they'd spray their throats. I was 22 years old when I first walked into a Marine Corps boot camp, if you will, OCS. And I thought I was tough and mean and ugly. I was the last thing. I weighed 149 pounds. I had acne. And I stood there, and this Master Sergeant came up to me, and he grabbed me by the breasts, my breasts, and he held me out straight and yelled some obscenities into my face. And I said, geez, I think I made a bad career choice here. Then he put me in a wall locker and slammed it shut. So I called my mother and said, could you come down and get me? I really didn't do that. When I was shipped overseas, my wife wrote a letter to the Commandant of the Marine Corps and said, hey, you shouldn't have sent my husband overseas. The Commandant disagreed. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I do not have a mobile mic. I would like to just go around. I do not have. Do I have a mobile mic? Does it work? I'm amazed at the advances in technology that have gone on since. You know, we used to call in artillery with a paper slide rule, a forward observer, and the artillery, and no three of them saw each other. And they could drop a shell in an ash can at 15 miles with a paper slide rule. It was always, does it work?
Test. Yes, it works.
Thank you. I'd just like to go around and just have the veterans introduce themselves, years of service, stuff like that, okay?
John Howard, U.S. Navy, Seabees. So I never wore this Navy uniform I was in. It was always marine green. I served 10 months in Vietnam in 1968 during the Tet Offensive. It was not good. But I came home and our group regrouped and got new people, and my third tour was down to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and that was hell. That was worse than Vietnam, morale-wise. And Nixon was president, so now I date myself. He was cutting back forces from Vietnam, and he had 4 months left. You can get out. I said I got to get out, so I got out. 3 years, 9 months, and 20 days. I lost track of the hours.
Good afternoon. My name is Ray Snee. I joined the Air Force in 1950 when I got out of high school, and I was in the Air Force through 1956. I was very, very fortunate not having to go to Korea. I was sent to Germany. Why? Because I was good at math. And they needed some math people in Germany because they just got the first jet fighter wing to Germany. They were F-84 Thunderbirds, Thunderjets or Thunderbirds, I forget. But I love the military, and I would have stayed in the military, except some woman grabbed me and wanted to marry me. But she was not going to marry a military guy. So I went to college. But after listening to our two people from Hanscom Field today, I want to tell you I'm going to go out tomorrow and re-enlist.
Thank you, Ray.
I'm Jean Leary. I was in the Army Nurse Corps from 63 to 66. And, but my husband was in the service for 39 years. He retired as a colonel. He was in the Army and in charge of all the medical units in New England at the time of his death. So I have a lot of history with the service.
Wow, 39 years. Not very honorable way of getting into the Marine Corps. They were going to draft me. I said, I got to get a commission someplace. So I went to all the places. I said, get out of here. Walked into the Marine Corps place, no one there. I knew, I said, I want to be a Marine. They said, okay. And that's how I got into the Marine Corps. A lot of times, I think I was talking with Peter and a few other people, you know, a lot about luck, life is luck. L-U-C-K. Everybody talks about how smart they are, and I did this and I did that. If it wasn't for me, the world would have perished. But there's a lot of luck in this world. And I consider one of the most valuable things was the luck that I went into the Marine Corps. I was a wise guy, no good guy. And they slapped some sense into me. I learned a lot. And I learned about how precious freedom is, the sacrifice and the pain that the military goes through. All of us in the military have known people that have been killed, and they didn't get to live the life. And that's too bad. So I'd like to just spend a moment of reflection, a moment of silence for all of the people that did sacrifice their lives so that we could be sitting here today. Next, we're going to have some comments from the Veterans Coordinator of Concord, Dick Groh.
Should I use the portable one? All right, guess it'll work for me. Well, good morning, everybody. You know, it's always hard to follow the Marines here, but so we'll have to throw a little humor out there for the Marines. I think they need it. So the young Marine goes in and into the service, and he has to go through pepper spray training. He also has to go through mustard gas training. When he completes the training, what do we call him? A seasoned veteran. So the naval officer goes around and he's going to reprimand the young sailor for not showing up at camouflage training. So the young sailor responded, "Why, thank you, sir." All right, I want to make sure you got that. All right, so during the last couple of years, I've been bouncing around. I spent some time actually in this building, then in the Harvey Wheeler, and then I spent some time at 37 Knox Trail Road. And then finally, they relocated me back across the driveway at 55 Church Street. So if you'd love to come in to speak with me, I would love to see you, just to see if I can help you out. So a couple of thoughts. During the pandemic, the Veteran Services has increased about 40% with more people coming in looking for benefits. I think there's two reasons behind it. One of them is because people found themselves at home with some free time, and I always get this comment, "Oh, I've been meaning to call you." Well, they finally found time to call me, and they've got what they were looking for. The other thing is during the pandemic, the limitations for your assets have changed, which allowed more people to get some low-income veterans were allowed to get some benefits through DVS, the Department of Veteran Services. Next thing, our two Centurions, Annie Holt and Peter, I saw him here earlier. Peter left, okay, so I know they were recognized, just so you know, they were recognized by the House of Representatives, they were recognized by the Governor's Office, they were also recognized for the folks I danced to, the Department of Veteran Services. So these people are all very well taken care of. Next thing, this number keeps changing on me. It turns out I've been doing this for the last 22 years since I retired from the police department. I am currently, this is a little scary also, I've been working for Concord for 54 years. I'm the longest employee the town of Concord has ever had. But that being said, in the last 22 years, when I started doing this with the veterans, I had 1,500 plus veterans in Concord. Today, the exact number, 749 veterans we have here in Concord. Out of that 749, there's 119 that receive VA service-connected benefits. VA, the federal government, service-connected, those who received or got some kind of injury during their service, and those folks bring to Concord's economy, this is the reason I tell you to give you the number, they bring to Concord's economy $178,000 per year into Concord's economy. $1,500 a month per service-connected veteran. Quite a big deal. The other number I wanted to give you is what I do. I want to separate them. The federal government's the VA, then there's DVS, the Department of Veteran Services. That's the state of Massachusetts. We, the state of Massachusetts, bring to Concord veterans another $5,000 a month into Concord's economy. So that's into Concord's taxes, into Concord's spending, whatever they're doing with it. Just a point of interest. It wouldn't be Veterans Day unless we, congratulate or at least thank our veterans for all the support that they give us, the things they've done for our country. So when you see a veteran out there today, make it a point to just say, "Oh, hello, thank you for your service." Two more little, you ready for two more little quickies? Here we go. How come you don't see any bugs when you get to a military camp? It's a no-fly zone. I don't make these up, really. Okay, what do you call a bunch of kids who join the military? The infantry. All right. Anyway, thank you guys. appreciate everybody who came out here today. It's good to see everybody. I pulled into my office this morning at 8:30. The parking lot was empty. When I walked across to come for this event here, it was full. So this is great. It just shows we do support our veterans in Concord. Take my word for it. Concord veterans are very, very well taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you, Dick. I just want to say a few words before we end up. I want to thank the people who came from Hanscom. That was great. We really enjoyed it. And honestly, I've lived in this area forever and never knew exactly what Hanscom was doing. So I really did enjoy the video. Thank you. And I want to thank all the volunteers who helped us. Who help us set up and will help clean up this breakfast. I want to thank the Carousel Preschool children who came and sang for us earlier. And of course, the Concord Lions Club, who provided the beautiful centerpieces. And we have Nancy and Cheryl here with us today, and we thank them for always contributing to our events, which is great. And anyway, the children from the Alcott School who made these great placemats. They do them for us every year. So I'm just going to turn this over now back to Bob, and he will end. And we thank you all for coming, and I really am very thankful we had such a good turnout today. It's been as most of you know, it's been slow getting people to come back here after the pandemic. And the showing today has been wonderful, and I've enjoyed talking to you all. Thank you.
As I said at the beginning, it's been 2 or 3 years since we've been able to meet in person. We've had this drive-by, you drive by in the car and shake hands, and that's it. I think it's very fortunate that we've been able to get together as people and see each other again. And again, thanks to all the veterans who have served and sacrificed on behalf of our country. The veterans are a dying breed. There aren't many of them anymore. When I first started coming to these things, there were some 1,100 veterans, now we're down to a lot less. So I want to thank you all for coming. I look forward to seeing you all next year, and if the river doesn't rise and global warming doesn't take us down, we'll all be back here next year. Particularly thanks to the Handsome group for the enlightenment they gave us to where the military is going in the future. It's a different military than I remember. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next year.